Are there characters and behaviors you don't like, but find yourself putting up with? Well, this is often the case for friendly people who give too much allowance for offenses. Of course, tolerance is a virtue, but there should be a limit to what you can let slide. This is why psychologists say that too much of everything is bad, and the more tolerance you allow, the more offense you'll have to put up with. Surely it's easier to notice when other people are tolerating more than they should. But then, it's often harder to tell when you're giving off the same energy. Thankfully, I'll be highlighting the 12 things you should never tolerate in life today. So be sure to stick around until the end of this video to find out where you have been accepting more than you should. Also, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more enlightening videos like this one. Now let's get started. Number 1. Disrespect. Disrespect is becoming more common, especially in today's world where people think they can speak and act without regard for other people's feelings. This is why it's coming first on the list of things you should never tolerate in life. The worst part about this point is that most people don't even know they're being disrespected, and they expect you to accept and move on as if nothing has happened. But then, if you allow people to disrespect you and go scot-free, you should expect even more disrespect from them when next the opportunity comes up. However, if you let them know you don't appreciate such behavior, then they don't have many options left than to treat you better. First, you must be able to discern when you're being disrespected. Then you can address the disrespectful person accordingly. Plus, while you certainly do not want to be disrespected, you must also be careful to ensure you're not being disrespectful yourself. Number 2. Peer pressure. Peer pressure simply refers to when you compromise on your standards to feel or be accepted by your friends or colleagues. Of course, there are positive and negative peer pressures, and you already know not to tolerate the negatives. If you have to do something to be accepted by your friends, then maybe they're not your friends in the first place. So while you can sometimes give a little space for compromise, you must be able to strike a balance and not let go of your personality just to fit in. Has there been a time you gave in to peer pressure in the past? Feel free to share your experience in the comment sections below. We're eager to read about your experience. Number 3. Negativity. Surrounding yourself with negativities is one of the worst things you can do to your potentials and self-confidence. But then avoiding it altogether is almost impossible since there's negativity everywhere on the internet, media, and even from other people. And the worst part yet is that you can easily get dragged down by all these negativities if you're not careful. So what's the solution? Well, it's best not to tolerate them at all. Instead of feeding your mind with these negativities, try to focus on other encouraging things. You can take out time to read a motivational book, listen to uplifting music, or surround yourself with positive friends that inspire you. Number 4. Inaction. Do you constantly find yourself scared or unable to leave your comfort zone, even when you have to? Well, what you're displaying is called inaction or inactivity, and it can prove very costly. If you don't take action and seize opportunities quickly, someone else will, and it will be to your detriment. Life is too short to sit and watch from the sidelines, and it's certainly not long enough to accommodate or tolerate inaction. So get up and start taking actions today. Number 5. Bad habits. When we talk about things we should not tolerate, we often expect them to be triggered by other people. But do you know that there are certain things you're not supposed to tolerate from yourself too? Yes, there are, and bad habits are among the most significant. You should never allow destructive behaviors like smoking, excessive alcohol intake, and gambling to become a habit in your life. These habits are costly and can destroy you and everything you've worked for in a blink. So you must deal with them at their initial stages before they get the best of you. Need help overcoming a bad habit that's proving hard to let go of? Well, you can get help from many places, but I recommend onlinetherapy.com. The professionals here are well trained to help you overcome bad habits effortlessly. Click on the link in the description below to learn more about them. Number 6. Hypocrisy. Do you know people who claim to have specific moral standards and principles, but don't abide by them? They are called hypocrites and should never be tolerated. Preaching one thing and practicing another is the highest level of dishonesty, and you need no telling how harmful dishonest people can be. This set of people often display double standards, condemning others for indulging in the same things they do. If you relate too much with such people, you might be adopting these unhealthy traits without even knowing, so it's always best to avoid them. Number 7. Abuse. Abuse can simply be said to be the act of causing pain or distress for others, and it's another thing you should never accept from anyone, regardless of who they are. Abuse can come in various forms, including intense disrespect, physical harm, and causing emotional pain. Whichever form it comes, though, make sure you're not tolerating any abuse, as it can end badly for you. Like disrespect, a single act of abuse often creates room for more abuse if it's left unchecked, and with time, it can become a habit. So if you find yourself in any relationship that cages you, takes away your freedom, and treats you less than you're worth, it's best to leave or report it. This is because suffering abuses in silence can only lead to one outcome, and it's not one you would like. Number 8. Stubbornness. You may have come across some stiff-necked people who are so in love with their opinions that they're unwilling to let go, even when they're wrong. This is called stubbornness, and it's a trait you should never put up with. You must also be careful not to tolerate stubbornness from yourself too, as it can consume you in the worst cases. Of course, you can stand your ground sometimes, especially when you're sure you're right. However, you must be able to give way to logic at other times and learn to compromise or collaborate with others. Number 9. Excuses. It's often easy to mistake excuses for reasons, but they're quite different. While reasons are a neutral explanation for the cause of an occurrence, excuses try to justify faults, and the latter should never be tolerated. Excuses are a way to escape taking responsibility by suggesting that a wrongdoing is not so wrong after all. Surely it would help to know how to spot the difference between reasons and excuses to avoid tolerating it from others or yourself. Number 10. Self-Condemnation. Self-condemnation is a very bad habit that does more damage to your mentality than you realize. It involves a continuous degradation or disapproval of yourself and your actions. Indeed, it's one thing for others to talk bad about you, but then it's different and even more damaging when you talk down on yourself. Such negative talks can quickly get registered in your brain and make you start believing them to be true. In short, self-condemnation is a virus you should not allow to grow, so always make efforts to talk positively about yourself and shun the urge to constantly criticize yourself. Number 11. Time wasters. Time wasters are people who act without regard for your time. Do you have friends who always arrive late or cancel on your plans? Or are they always asking you to do something for them but bail on you whenever it's time to return the favor? These people may not seem to be doing much wrong, but they take precious minutes away from your already limited hours. Well, you do not have to put up with them anymore, and you should consider their requests carefully before accepting them. Number 12. Unhappiness. We can often get absorbed in our busy daily schedule that we hardly have time to engage in fun activities. You may not notice it, but this lifestyle gradually destroys your happiness and leaves you unexcited. Of course, we have to work to make ends meet, but all work without play is a killjoy, and a little fun from time to time has never hurt anyone. So get up today, go out, do something fun, and enjoy yourself. Nobody deserves to be unhappy, and you most certainly do not have to tolerate it. Did you learn something new from this video? Then click on our next video to enjoy more fascinating ways to control how other people treat you.